Nice meeting.
Thank you, man.
Cheers. See ya.
Hello.
Hi. The title certainly grabs the eye.
Yeah, it does.
Thought here.
What?
Out here.
Why? You don't think animals deserve to be abused?
No. And it says animals deserve to be abused.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I was thinking that.
Like literally everyone who's walking past thinks that.
I know where you're coming from, that. I've said, but on the sign there, I thought there was a bunch of people campaigning for animal abuse.
And it's weird because a lot of people give it weird looks, right? But those are the same people who support industries that openly abuse animals, and we know it for a fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm aware that I do that, but always feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
I don't see the point because they do this whole torch thing, but if they just shot it or something, went on to the next one, didn't, do something inhumane, people would be less, annoyed about it.
Why does it matter? Like, if we know we're going to kill them anyways, why do you think it matters to us that they had, like, somewhat of a good life?
My dad had a pig. No, his mate had a pig once, which was about 14 or so, and it could barely move. It was actually crueler to keep it alive than not, and so its mate Alan got his a 308 rifle. I've seen him do it before. He is about that far, so it's impossible for him to miss.
Yeah.
Would have felt nothing at all, had a good life, and so at least be nice to them if you.
So you said before that like that was in the animal's best interest because it would suffer more if it continued to live.
Yeah.
We do that the same way with like euthanasia, right? For pets. We know that they're going to suffer so much more than if we were to give them a peaceful death. But that's completely removed from what we do to animals for things like animal products, because that's not in their best interest, that's in our best interest because we want to eat them, right?
Yeah.
Or use them for leather or, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So do you think there's a humane way to kill an animal that doesn't want to die?
That's a knocking jogging one, isn't it?
I'll make it easier. Do you think there would be a humane way for someone to kill you if you didn't want to die? Thinking about it as if you were truly in their position. It's a pretty instant answer, man.
I would choose probably back of the head. Just
no, if you didn't want to die, you didn't have to die.
Yeah, but I guess the answer, the most humane way would be somewhere that I wouldn't know it's coming at least, or wouldn't feel it.
I would say that there is no way because I don't want to die. I would rather not die than die humanely.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I live on a different way because I used to be incredibly suicidal when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I found out about Swiss clinics, as they were called back then, and honestly, if euthanasia had been legal in New Zealand at that point, or voting hour of age, I would happily gone for it. And I didn't vote for it the last election, or because I could see both sides.
It's difficult, eh?
Yeah, but I would say this slightly reminds me of the thing that guy in America, Steve Crowder, does.
Yeah. That's kind of what I base it on. But I do want people to prove me wrong, because the only way to prove me wrong is to live a lifestyle that boycotts animal products, because the industries abuse animals. Yeah. So the only way to prove me wrong is to live a lifestyle that boycotts animal products. Do you know of any lifestyle that aligns with that kind of philosophy of avoiding and boycotting animal products?
My uncle came kind of close to that once upon a time. Nowadays, with the way things made and all, it's just really hard to avoid animal products. As I say,
I think so.
I'm quite aware of what I do. My boots are made of leather that I have to wear for work.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is made of cotton, and it is really difficult because I've got leather jackets at home and things that are made with animal products.
But if you're aware of where the animal products are and you know there's an alternative, it's not that hard. The more awareness you have, the easier it becomes. Yeah. It's kind of the same with like determining whether foods are nutritious or not. It's really hard at the start because you have no idea where the nutrients that you need are. But as soon as you are aware, it's like, spinach has a lot of iron in it. I can have spinach for iron.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then it's not hard to think of the same thing when you go repeat it after that kind of repetition. Yeah.
I mean, I do like a bit of spinach myself sometimes.
Can't relate. I have to force myself.
If it's done well, sure, but I understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll leave this with you. This will give you all the information you need to be against animal abuse when you choose to do so.
Alright.
Yeah, I really appreciated that conversation. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure thing. Catch you later.
I recently did a podcast with Cliff and Sheena, two amazing activists, and the video didn't get as many views as my others. And that's not me being salty. Of course, it was like 2 hours long. So for you guys, I thought I would clip my responses to their questions and play one around like each episode of Outreach. That's only if I don't have anything serious to reflect upon within the conversation. Anyways, yeah, here's the first clip.
Michael, what about you? How do you cope with being vegan in a non-vegan world?
Yeah, man, there's really two ways to look at this. And I think if I were to take it on a macro level, how do I deal with the fact that we have a lot of even human atrocities in the world? And I think, well, whatever you think really is the reality that you live in, because I can focus, if I wanted to, I could focus all my energy on all the negative things that are in this world, or I could choose to do the opposite. I can choose to have an influence on those factors that are either positive or negative. They say that optimists are generally longer living than pessimists. I think in terms of coping, definitely a big factor is, yeah, how you view the world. Yes, there is a lot of horrible things happening to animals. Focusing on that isn't productive in a way which you can derive an action from it. Instead, I'd rather think, how can I make a positive influence on this world? With Neil deGrasse Tyson, he's one of my idols, even though he's not too well regarded in the animal rights community at the moment because of his plant rights activism. But his life goal, which is quite ironic to the fact that he's promoting plant life, is to leave this world in a better state that you entered it. And that's really a philosophy that I want to practice as well. And especially before discovering ethical veganism or anything like that, my goals and ambitions were to have a house, to have a car, a really fast sports car or something, and to have a hot girlfriend. That was pretty much it. But then when I discovered ethical veganism, I have so much more to live for because it's so much more than myself. I have a chance and the opportunity and the privilege to really make a difference in people's lives by helping them change, and difference therefore in animals' lives as well. So yeah, I think focusing on the positive, and this comes from someone who is like very, very cynical. I'm very cynical and pessimistic in an optimistic kind of way. It's weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to know how many of those other three things do you have now?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that actually. On that day, I actually reflected on what Cliff said about the three things that I used to aspire to. I have 3 areas of my life that I'm focusing on the moment that I will reveal in a future video. Thank you for joining me on this perspective and for being against animal abuse, not only with your words, but with your actions.